Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the exact mechanics of a perfect comeback story. I mean, we've all seen characters hit absolute rock bottom, right? But how do you bring them back in a way that feels totally fresh, completely earned, and just absolutely riveting? Well, today, we're analyzing how a dramatic genre shift within a single narrative can essentially rehook an audience that might think they've already seen it all. We are going to look at a brilliant structural pivot that turns a narrative completely on its head and breathes entirely new life into a story. So how exactly do you execute the ultimate storytelling comeback? Instead of just laying out some dry, theoretical roadmap that spoils all the tension, let's jump straight into the mystery of it. Picture your absolute favorite protagonist. Now imagine them stripped of their title, their home, and their dignity. How does that character travel from rock bottom back up to the absolute peak of power? It requires a storytelling masterclass. And the source material we're exploring today maps out exactly how to achieve this through 4 distinct, really powerful beats. This explainer analyzes a specific narrative transition known as Part 4, the Path of Healing. We're moving completely away from a traditional culinary drama and diving headfirst into a high-stakes medical drama. And this isn't just a change of scenery, it's a total genre shift. By transitioning the script from a culinary setting to a medical one, the writers do something kind of magical. They keep the protagonist we already love, but they completely reset the rules of the game. That breathes completely new life into the narrative and honestly forces the audience to pay attention all over again. Okay, let's dive into beat 1, finding the hidden loophole and bypassing the rules of the Joseon dynasty. In any truly great comeback story, you can't just let the hero waltz right through the front door. You have to establish an impossible barrier to entry and then reveal a brilliant secret path back into the halls of power. To really get the stakes of our story here, we've got to look at the historical context of the Joseon dynasty. Back in this era, male doctors were strictly forbidden from examining or even touching female royalty. It was a massive cultural taboo. So from a medical standpoint, this created a seemingly impossible barrier. I mean, how do you treat the most powerful women in the country if the kingdom's trained physicians aren't even allowed to touch them? Well, to solve this unprecedented medical constraint, the government created a really unique class of practitioners called the unyo. These were female physicians chosen exclusively from government slaves. And this right here is a storytelling goldmine. Our protagonist, Jang Geum, who has been cast all the way down into the life of a government slave, realizes this historical loophole is literally her only ticket back. If she can become an unyo, she can re-enter the palace, clear her name, and take down her enemies, the corrupt Choi clan, from the inside out. Moving on to beat 2, the medical training grind, or the alchemy of skills. Let's be honest, a comeback feels super cheap if the protagonist just suddenly develops superpowers out of nowhere, right? You have to prove to the audience that the character's past suffering and previous experiences were actually the perfect training ground for their new career. And there's a beautiful philosophy at the heart of this transition. Food and medicine share the same roots. This isn't just a nice little proverb. It's the fundamental bridge connecting her culinary past directly to her medical future. It basically tells us that everything she learned in the kitchen is about to become her greatest weapon in the hospital. It's actually brilliant how she recycles what she already knows. Her legendary palate, which she once used to perfect royal meals, now allows her to taste, separate, and identify incredibly obscure medicinal herbs that everyone else just misses. And those precise, super steady knife skills from years of chopping and prepping food, they effortlessly translate into a total mastery of acupuncture. Her past wasn't wasted time at all. It was just a prologue. But to really sell this kind of transition, you've got to show the work. We see her meticulously grinding herbal remedies. We see her poring over these ancient, highly complex medical texts. We watch her repeatedly practicing needle placements on traditional bronze acupuncture mannequins. And crucially, we see her relentless late-night studying by candlelight while all the other government slaves are fast asleep. She is literally outworking her current reality. That brings us to beat 3, facing the impossible exam and overcoming the final barrier. Every great comeback story desperately needs a gatekeeper, right? Someone or something that tests absolutely everything the hero has learned. Traveling back to the capital to take the royal medical exam, Jang Geum basically walks straight into a trap. She faces a totally rigged system run by incredibly backward, corrupt officials. These gatekeepers demand blind, rote memorization of ancient texts. And they look down on her because this heavily contrasts with her core methodology.
Jang Geum relies on practical experience. She actually desires to question the symptoms and truly understand the science and the root cause behind an illness, rather than just mindlessly quoting a textbook.
So the real question is, can she actually survive this active sabotage from her examiners? I mean, we as the audience know she has the skills, but the system is entirely designed to make sure someone of her class, a government slave, fails. The tension here is absolute perfection because the conflict isn't just about medicine anymore. It's a full-on ideological war between the old guard and a brilliant innovator.
Well, you really can't hide true brilliance. Thanks to her sheer intellect and the incredibly harsh but vital practical experience she gained while exiled on Jeju Island, she triumphs. During the exam, she successfully diagnoses these complex, obscure illnesses that utterly baffled even the most senior, elite male doctors in the room. By proving her undeniable medical superiority, she breaks right through that rigged system and actually passes the state exam with top honors.
Which leads us to our final beat. Beat 4. The ultimate triumphant return. The ghost returns.
Guys, this is the cinematic payoff you've been desperately waiting for. This is where the story rewards the viewer for sticking with the character through all the grinding and all the suffering. As Jang Geum walks back through those massive, imposing palace gates that once cast her out, she is no longer wearing the humble, stained apron of a kitchen maid. Nope. She's traded it in for the distinct, brightly colored blue and pink uniform of a royal female physician. A complete, total shift in power dynamics has just occurred right before our eyes. And then, the ultimate cliffhanger. As she walks through those gates, she crosses paths with her ultimate enemies, the Choi clan. Now, they are currently sitting at the absolute peak of their political power, completely comfortable and totally unchallenged. The scene ends on their shocked, horrified faces. It is literally their worst nightmare realized. They recognize the ghost of the girl they thought they had utterly destroyed. Only this time, she isn't a helpless cook. She has returned with the highest medical authority, giving her direct, unchecked access to get intimately close to the king himself. Chills, right? So wrapping up this explainer, I want you to really think about how you can use this blueprint. How can you apply this 4-beat comeback structure to bridge a character's past skills with an impossible new challenge in your own storytelling? By finding a historical or systemic loophole, recycling old skills into a completely new discipline, forcing them through a rigged exam, and then rewarding them with a visually stunning return, you make the comeback feel incredibly earned rather than just magically contrived. So I'll leave you with this. What past skills is your protagonist hiding that could become their ultimate weapon tomorrow? Keep that question in mind as you map out your next narrative pivot.